you're healed and you're not. I guess I put it that way. Like I said, I want to share my story, my journey with y'all up to this point, what I'm realizing as well. So I hope this is something, like I said, that they hits home for you too. So, like I said again, welcome to the video. If this is your first time here, be sure to go ahead and subscribe. And of course, make sure y'all comment and all that kind of stuff too, so because I want to hear from y'all too. But then, of course, if you've been here before, of course, welcome back, y'all. Y'all all my fam. So thank y'all for being here. Like I said, this video today is all about when you think you're healed, but you're not. I know I've done many videos. I'm pretty sure y'all can search back throughout the years since probably like 2017, 18, 15, something. I've done probably about 100, 200 videos talking about healing, letting go, triggers, actually probably more than that, but all those types of things. And I just want to say that, of course, I am one who, of course, is of course being transparent with my journey and what I'm going through, and of course letting y'all know my failures and when I'm scared, all those types of things. That's just the person that I am. That's just how I've always been, and that's just what I continue to do. I put it that way as well. And I'm a social worker, so a social worker and a certified life coach. So of course I know how important it is to, of course, share your journey where other folks are struggling, so they can get the help that they need to, of course, transform and to move ahead and to make those changes too. So like I said, that's why I share my story, just in case y'all are new and y'all have no idea why I'm doing this, what's going on, all those types of things. But y'all, let's go ahead and get into this. So like I said, I've been sharing my story for years now on YouTube, on Facebook, all across social media. Of course, I know for me, healing is not a one day deal. Healing to me is always a lifelong process, or has been a lifelong process for me. I'm 49, so I guess my life of healing, I guess I put it that way. But like I said, I know I'm not done. But in some areas, I thought I was done. I guess I put it that way. In some areas, I thought I was done, but it crept back up on me this past week and a half. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? So let me tell y'all a little bit of the gist of the story. I was at, of course, let me see, what's today? Today's Friday. So Monday I went to therapy. Of course, I was all emotional, upset, and all this kind of stuff about things that's going on with a certain person in my life, or a younger person in my life, I guess I put it that way, and how that young person has been very triggering to me as far as reminding me of the things that happened in my past, I guess, like my traumas and my dramas growing up and those types of things. And of course, that was the gist of my conversation at therapy on this past Monday. And of course, I couldn't hear what the therapist was saying because I was so upset, so in my own feelings. So it was, I don't think it had anything to do with ego, but just so in my own feelings, so hurt, so triggered, so traumatized, re-traumatized, I guess I put it that way. And I had to, after that session, of course, I'll see him again on this Monday, but um, after that session, I had a long time to think. I didn't even sleep on Monday night actually at all. I didn't even sleep at all because I was up thinking about the stuff that he was saying and the stuff that, of course, in my mind, of course, I know my traumas. I know the things that I went through. I know that I, of course, had drug addicted parents. I know about my dad was very abusive to my mom, and of course, I got whippings too and things like that. But and we of course were evicted and all this kind of stuff going on. And I know that well, in my mind, of course, I thought I had already kind of worked on those things and got those things out of my system as best as I could and that kind of thing too. But like I said, with this particular situation, it came right back up the same exact ways I was feeling. I went back to like my childhood, to my childhood thoughts, how I was feeling in my childhood, that kind of thing, which is not good for anybody, including me. I put it that way. So, like I said, I'm sitting up here just thinking about all the stuff because I know that when you're dealing with a younger person, and I know I'm, like I said, I'm 49 years old, so I know us adults have a tendency to, they should already know these things already because we know it. And what I know about that is, because I know I said that to the therapist several times actually in the session on Monday. And what I know is that our young adults, our younger generation, they're not going to know anything unless we teach them. Well, we can teach them too, but unless they allow it to soak in and actually care about the information at that time in order to learn the information, I put it that way. Some of the young adults, I guess some of them don't, of course, as we know, some of them will. But like I said, I know us as adults, and me, I have definitely said so. They should already know this, or this should be happening, that kind of thing. And I have to think back because, of course, the triggering came from, like I said, my childhood thing, my childhood wounds that I still have. And me having to grow up so early, I was in grade school growing up, well, as an adult, I put it that way, as the adult in the household. Parents on drugs, we getting water cut off, no food, all this kind of stuff going on. being evicted and all this kind of stuff. I had to be the adult in that household to keep asking my parents, is the bills paid? Do we have money for food? All those types of things. Because I was sitting up here hungry and all this kind of stuff going on. Wondering whether we'd be put out tomorrow. I had no idea. So they so-called was handling it, which they weren't. And I love my parents. I'm not talking both of them, I guess, rest in peace. I love my parents, but like I said, some things that they did, they have no idea how it impacted me. And like I said, they're both deceased, so they don't really know. But we had never had a chance to have none of these conversations. But like I said, I know there was one thing that was, of course, like I said, triggering to me in the session Monday. I'm like, she should already know this. This person should already know that. They should already know how to do this. We've already talked about these things and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, again, I had to remember that when it comes to young adults, if they're not taught or they don't care about the information that they are hearing, they're not going to learn it or retain it at their present time. Then another thing, I don't know if anybody on here has ever lived with parents or anybody in the house that was on drugs, I put it that way. Not just marijuana, but I mean crack cocaine, heroin. My parents was on those things. So, I mean, if anybody lived in the house with anybody on the heavier drugs, I put it that way, you probably can relate to this. But, of course, all the folks coming in and out the house, them up all times in the night, going to, I guess, look for drugs, to find money to get drugs, all this kind of stuff, and sometimes taking my money or taking the stuff that I had to sell it and selling stuff in the house to get money. And like I said, those are the kind of things I had to go through growing up, since I was in grade school up until I left for college, actually. But like I said, definitely with some of the behaviors that certain people have, going in and out the house all times of the night, that kind of thing. Like I said, that is really triggering for me because it reminds me of all the stuff that happened back in the day and how it was unsafe and how I don't know what's going on and who's in the house and all those types of things. And like I said, definitely, like I said, I'm not going to get into every single thing, but just two things to give you enough to let you know I was triggered, I guess I put it that way, by the things that was going on and just pissed off and upset. And like I said, I thought I had dealt with all these things back in the day and several years ago. I did it on video, talked about it and that kind of thing too. But I'm realizing that I am not as healed as I thought I was when it came to certain things. And I'm telling you this, I'm telling myself this. I know now, of course, I know in the back of my mind, I already knew that some things you're going to be triggered in different ways when it comes to certain things. It does not have to be somebody in the household using drugs. It doesn't have to be anybody in the household that's not buying food, you're hungry, whatever the case may be. But you're going to be triggered in different ways with different people. I don't care if it's your boss at work. I don't care if it's your coworkers at work. I don't care if it's your children. I don't care if it's your parents, your siblings, your friends, somebody that you see in a grocery store. You never know what they may say to you that may trigger you. I've been through all those things and constantly been through all those things. It doesn't change because I'm a social worker or a coach. That never changes. You're usually triggered by a lot of different things. But what I realized on Monday, I was so upset and couldn't hear the therapist. I mean, I heard him, but I couldn't soak in what he was saying. I guess I put it that way, is what I'm talking about hearing. But I had to realize that once I calmed down and able to, of course, put my emotions to the side, I was able to actually think. And he actually said that in the session too. Because that's one of the things that I had to work on for this week and I'm going to continuously work on this, to figure out what emotions I'm feeling at that time, whether I'm scared, whether I'm angry, whether I'm not feeling safe, whatever it is, to work on those emotions I'm having, or joy, or whatever the feeling is, to work on those feelings at the time, to make those feelings shrink smaller than I am, I guess I put it that way, in order for me to start thinking and work through the situation. Because, of course, I know that and I'm pretty sure this happens for I can't say everybody, but for most people, when you're angry, you're upset, you're flipping off the handle and that kind of thing, you cannot think very well at that time. All you can think about is the situation that you're angry, you want to retaliate, you want to get back at somebody, this ain't going to happen, you're going to do this, all this kind of stuff going on, and you can't think logically about the situation. And that's where I was at too. Like I said, after I got done with the session, like I said, I was up all night thinking about what the therapist said, all that kind of stuff, and realized that, yes, while I may be triggered by this particular person, it's also on me to, of course, to deal with those triggers too. And I know that already. But like I said, I just could not hear that on Monday. I could not, for whatever reason, I just could not hear that on Monday. I was so mad and so upset and so hurt and everything else, feeling so disrespected as well. And like I said, what I know, like I said, when it comes to healing and that kind of thing, I know it's always an inside job, regardless as to whoever's triggering me. My partner, It could be his daughter, my boss, I don't know, whoever else, family, friends, whoever it is, somebody in the grocery store, whoever it is. It's always an inside job. I have to start with myself first. What am I doing in the situation to either add to the triggering effect? I guess I put it that way. Or what am I doing in that situation to even cause the situation? I guess I put it that way too. And what am I doing in that situation to remove myself from whatever parts that's triggering me? I put it that way too. All that is on me, while the person is going to do what they want to do. They have their own mind, their own free will to do whatever it is. And I'm sure y'all know that as well. I'm pretty sure y'all know because y'all probably have been through a similar situation as this as well. Being triggered by somebody else and unsure why you trigger so badly, what to do about it, all those types of things. The only thing I can say is what I've talked about in past videos for the past several years to figure out where that trigger word actually stems from. I know mine is from my childhood wounds. I know this. I know the exact ones they're actually from. You're going to have to dig down deep and figure out where those are from too, in order for you to start dealing with whatever's triggering you. Until you do that, you are going to constantly go through the same situation over and over again. It's first recognizing what that trigger is and where it's coming from. The next thing, that's like I said, I'm working on this in therapy too, but I know that we have to figure out ways to, of course, to lessen the triggers. Whether that's working through our emotions, like I'm doing now with certain things, working through the emotions that come up when I am triggered or re-triggered by this person, to figure out what those emotions are and how I can lessen those emotions moving forward, and how I can not let it bother me so much and take it very offensively moving forward, because that's their life. They're going to do what they're going to do. I'm the one that has to change how my reaction is. And like I said, those are hopefully those two things or two or three things I mentioned can help you all when you're moving forward too, trying to figure out why am I still going through these situations being triggered, and why it's not changing even though I've done some work in this. It keeps coming up in different situations. Like I said, we're going to have to keep, at least for me, I'm going to have to keep doing this for the rest of my life as far as what I feel. Everybody's different. You may say you don't have to, and that is totally fine. I know I'm a different person, so that is okay. This is just, I'm just telling my story, what I'm going to be doing and what I have been doing. I guess I put it that way. Because like I said, I don't want to keep going through life being triggered by every single person or somebody that's doing something that reminds me of my childhood and I can't control myself. Because I was very upset. And I even had went off on that person too, like a few days before that. Very upset. And like I said, I hadn't been upset like that in a while. I guess I put it that way. I don't know how long. I couldn't tell you the time. I couldn't tell you. But in a while. Even though I went to anger management, did all these things. And like I said, I'm thinking I'm healed and everything is fine. I wasn't. In that particular situation, I was not fine. And like the therapist told me, I'm going to have to learn how to figure out what emotion is coming up, or the emotions that's coming up, why, and make those emotions smaller than me. Shrink those emotions down so I can think through the situation, think about what I'm going to say, so I won't be hurting feelings and burning bridges and all those types of things. And I've done that in the past, growing up since a teenager, I think. Want to say yes, since I was a teenager, I had a very bad temper. Say the first thing, I was go off on folks, say the first thing that was on my mind, no matter who it was. The only place I was able to control that more was at work, so I knew I had to pay the damn bills. Other than that, everybody else got whatever was in my mind. I put it that way. And whenever it came up, and I had, like I said, I had to learn how to change those things. That's why I know it's always an inside job. We always have to change ourselves no matter what the situation is, even if that's changing ourselves to the extent of removing ourselves from that entire situation. Because I have done that too. With my ex-husband, another partner, and other friends and family, I've done that too. Sometimes we have to get to that point where we have to let go and love them and just be done with it, and change the way we even interact with that person. Whether there's no interaction, only on holidays, whatever it's going to be. I know holidays are coming up. Next week is Christmas. And some of y'all may be triggered by some of the folks that's coming to y'all Christmas dinner. Or dinner, I should say dinner. So, what I'm saying. But like I said, some of y'all may even be triggered by that. We have to learn how to react to those things in a better way instead of going off, like, well, I guess for me, in a better way instead of going off, being upset, flipping the handle, everything going on. I'm having an attitude, going off on somebody. I cannot continue to react like that, even though it hasn't been a lot of times at all this year, but still, I don't want to continue to do that anymore. That's just for me. But like I said, you can do what you want to do. But like I said, that's just for me. I don't want that anymore at all because I'm triggered by something or somebody. So y'all, I hope y'all are hearing this message this morning. Like I said, I couldn't hear it when I was, I guess, trying to talk to the therapist. He was trying to talk to me the other day. I could not hear this message, even though I already knew these things. I just could not hear it on Monday because I was so upset, so triggered, so mad, so feeling so disrespected, feeling so unappreciated. Everything that you can think of, resentful, everything. And like I said, I'm still working through those feelings as well. It ain't just this week and that's it. This is going to continue until I feel that I have a good grasp on things and I can talk to somebody when I'm not in the best of moods. I guess I put it that way, and when I'm triggered. So like I said, I hope that this helps somebody, and some of the tips that I shared that I'm going to work on as far as me and my triggering and my process and my healing and that kind of thing. I hope that they help somebody this morning. Because like I said, I know I'm not the only one that's, of course, being triggered by somebody or something and trying to figure out how to deal with it instead of just flying off the handle, getting upset, getting all in your feelings and all those types of things. It's going to take some work. It's not going to be like tomorrow for me at all. And it ain't going to be tomorrow for you either. But it's going to take a little while, but over time it's going to get better. I can tell you that. Because I know it's going to get better for me too. So with that, y'all, I want to say thank y'all for tuning in, of course. Oh, and I didn't even say thank y'all for the people that actually was on here. Tucker, Olson, and Leon is his Shrives. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. I really greatly appreciate that. Hopefully you all have subscribed to the channel by now. If not, make sure that you do so before you get off. If this is something that you want to, of course, hear, and something that you want to hear content around, I guess I put it that way as well, as I'm sharing my stories these next several days. So with that, y'all, take care, y'all. Have a great one. I'll see y'all in the next video, y'all. Peace out. And like I said, I hope this helps somebody. Let me know in the comments how this helped you this morning, y'all. I definitely want to know. Peace out, y'all, and have a great one.